Hi, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in your now moment. Just wait for it to catch up with the live stream. It's confusing because it's a slight delay. I'm just going to go to this screen so I'm not distracted. Welcome for Meditation Monday. Thank you for joining me. Hope you are well, whatever you are doing in your now moment, as I said. Today I want to do a couple of things. I'd like to pull a card and do a little mini reading. Obviously I want to do a meditation, and I want to share a little bit of a little quick 5 minutes this beautiful leaf with you. I don't think you can see it, or whether it comes up or whether the light. There we go. It looks as though I've cut bits out or drawn on it from that video. See if I can get it near the camera so you can actually see. It's an actual leaf. Now, I went for a walk today and I came across this in the middle of my path, and I just thought that's a beautiful message, and it just reminds me of the intention and the belief that I have personally. Whether you resonate with this doesn't matter, but I'm going to share this with you, is that whenever I come across feathers, I tell my children that's grandma saying she loves you back. Or I say, thank you, angels, for reminding me of your presence. Now, whether you believe in angels, I think actually is irrelevant. It's more the intent of saying thank you to that part of us, the rest of the universe, the divine presence and the messages. Oh, my hair is going on with it. That is there in presence, and those synchronicities and symbolism that we find. My pack of cards that I do with my reading, the symbols themselves, I've been using these cards for, I must have been about 16, and I always tell people when I do a reading that I bought this book because I was part of a book club, and the packet of the cards was in the lid, and I thought, oh well, that's a bit naff, it's not got any cards with it, it's just the book. And I was only about 14, 15. But when I was about 16, the packet fell out, and it was like then I was actually ready to start using them, and I have since then. But even when I don't use them, I see the symbols of those cards when I'm out and about and telling me messages and meaning. Cards themselves are very similar to me. They're just symbols or a visual representation that has a meaning, a communication with the divine. And we're almost out of a whole Mercury retrograde. We've had so many planets retrograding. And Theresa, people say to me, Theresa, if you teach people about manifesting their reality, why do you like astrology? Because then aren't you manifesting things to happen? I like to think of astrology and understanding astrology as like a cosmic weather report. So if it's going to be a sunny day, if it's going to be a rainy day, there's the potential to affect how we feel. So if we're aware up front, then that we react certainly through our thoughts, our beliefs, to the rain, for example. If you've got a belief that the rain is a horrid day, then you're always going to have a crappy day on a rainy day. But I don't. It's just a rainy day, as Louise L. Hay would remind us. And you can put your wellies on and splash about, and it can be brilliant. And if you're in a really hot country and the rain comes, then it's like, wow. So our thoughts and how we view things can really have a different perspective. So I'd like to do a little bit of image therapy in our meditation today, and just remind you of these symbols. I mean, that symbol is very evocative of a rune symbol, but for me it was a beautiful blessing. It answered a question that I was asking of the divine. So I say, thank you for reminding me of your presence. And you can do the same for whatever symbols will be different for you. Certainly in our family, we have one very similar to lots of people about the robin, but for us, when the robin lands on things, it's normally a warning that a loved one's about to transition, which it's not for some. It's just the reminding them and visiting. Same with butterflies. But all these symbolistic connections to nature and our connection, if we're meditating and we're opening up, how do we view them? How do we know what's ego, what's our mind, what's our imagination? Because your brain doesn't know physiologically what the difference between imagination and actually doing things is. It's the same for our bodies. We experience things the same that we imagine as what we do in reality. So you can create beautiful dream imaginations, and body will feel you're going through that, but you can also be worried about things. And we've got the Halloween coming up soon. Lots of people are fearful, and I always like to remind people the whole point of doing Halloween is to make fun of the fear, to face our fears. And I think it's to make fun of the fear, because in you making it fun, you're reveling in the fact that things that may ordinarily scare you, but it's this talk of the fin vow and this whole being connected with the world, the planet, the reality around us, the external, by connecting with the internal, which is what we do. And I'll do the card at the end actually. So I'd like to do, as it's Monday, a little manifesting visualization, just a short one, visualizing as we're coming out of this energy and we're about to come to a conclusive energy, a sort of shift. So we call it the Witch's New Year. This is like a season shift as well, for northern and the southern hemispheres. So I've always celebrated this and loved this time of year. It's my favourite. Don't know whether it's yours, but let me know. I just love the autumn colours, and the artist in me just revels in the symbolic nature of how things are shedding. We're going more within. For us in the northern hemisphere, as I say, it's different for the southern. It's their summer, but it doesn't matter if you need time to go within, and this time of letting go. And I love the idea that, and the science, that when the trees shed their leaves, nutrients goes into the soil for the regrowth. So I'm called to go with that, but we'll see what happens when we get there. So if you'd like to make yourself comfortable, just taking a deep breath. Just become aware of your breath. Don't try and focus on your breathing or change your breathing. If you've never meditated before, I invite you to we're just going to observe what we're feeling, what we're thinking, and hopefully wherever you are now, I mean, if you do between 1 and 10, we got joining, hello Luna, enjoy with the cats, between 1 and 10, 1 being not feeling so great, and 10 being feeling on top of the world, to be even more on top of the world. So wherever you are, hopefully we'll lift ourselves and change and shift our focus to what we would like to have in our lives, be it joy and abundance and gratitude. So I invite you to close your eyes. If it's not safe for you to do so, then a fixed place. You can do this whilst on public transport. You don't have to be in a quiet area. It doesn't matter where you are. You are where you are, and that's okay, basically. It's a friend. You want to join us, do you? Okay. So, and if you want to cuddle a pet, actually, saying that, as her presence reminding me, it's a really good way to tap into our emotion of love, especially if we're finding it hard to visualize those emotions when I prompt you to do so. And I'm not going to put any music on. If you want to get some music up for yourself in the background, so you can choose what you want. If you want to play some singing bowls, whatever you choose, what's right for you in this mood for you. Just start to become aware of your breath and the totality of our senses. Breathing in and breathing out. And I want you to give your brain, monkey mind, an image of a beach with the waves just brushing in and out. And out. Really say your breath actually sounds like the waves hitting the shore just gently. And obviously we're doing that naturally, but start to then not control the breath, but just taking more oxygen into the lungs, being mindfully aware of how much you're raising your chest, how much you're filling up your lungs, and when you're releasing your breath, letting go, blowing out through the mouth Always breathing in through the nose. We breathe through our nose, we eat with our mouth, remember? And there's this intention of, when we're breathing in through the nose, we have enough oxygen. When we to try, when you're walking, actually to just breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth, and not breathing through the mouth unless you really have to, if you've got a cold or something. But and that image of the waves in the background minks, and what it would feel like for you if you were standing on a beach. Could you just hear the waves? What would you hear in the distance? What would you want to hear? Would you want to be hearing the tropical breeze of trees, or like on a summer, or say a Caribbean beach somewhere warmer, or just a windswept UK beach that's got these beautiful waves with that cool breeze and that air of winter freshness? Maybe someone walking their dog along the beach, maybe children playing. You bring up and imagine, really get your creative juices flowing. What do you want to see? What do you see where you are? What do you hear? For me, I hear my children playing, as we always do when we're on the beach. Maybe it's pebbles rather than sand. They're chucking pebbles into the ocean, running around, laughter. And that breeze, that scent of the air, what you can smell, evoke that. I'm standing there. Now focus. And how are you feeling? Does it make you feel calm, invoking that? And whatever you're feeling, if you're not feeling calm, that's okay too. And regardless of what you're feeling, if there's anything you want to let go, if you feel like you just want to go and blow it out and shake it off like we would do in Qigong, we'd shake, we'd get our nervous system going and resetting that sympathetic nervous system to feeling and coming out of fight or flight. And with these images that we're evoking, you can be doing that, shaking on the beach, you can be a little dance, really feeling a little boogie. Maybe you're having fun playing around at the shoreline with your children. If you've not got children, your dog, your partner, or maybe it's just you, and you're just opening up to that expansive view of the horizon. And whatever's happening around, either in the environment where you are, or in this now moment where I'm taking you on a little journey, I want you to now stick to that image of the horizon and that line. That line. It's a line, we think of line, a road, a time, a vastness, a distance. I want you to go within for a moment. So if you're keeping your eyes closed, and just a little bit of self-hypnosis. So you are the one that grounding you with my voice. But before we do any of that, I want you to feel your feet beneath you wherever they are in your room, your environment. And ever you feel uncomfortable for any reason, I want you to become aware of your feet, okay? And all we're going to do, you don't need to be afraid, is if with our eyes shut, we're going to work with our brain chemistry by looking up under the eyelids, looking up and looking at that horizon image in our mind. Looking up, you might feel like your eyelids are a little bit strange. Looking up, and as we do this, I'm going to count down, and I want you, as I count, I want you to imagine that you are literally lifting off and flying forward to that distant line. And the 10, 9, and as we go down to 8, we get closer to the horizon. 7, 6, 5, 4, and the closer we get, the more relaxed we feel, the more at ease we feel, the more connected we feel. And if you need to let go of those eyes, just relaxing them, you can. 3, 2, 1, and you're just floating, drifting, relaxing in a sea of calm, almost like you are out of the body, but with this grounded presence. My voice holding you, you holding yourself, knowing that you are safe, that all is well in this now moment. Whatever you're feeling, it's okay. You are okay. You are enough. Remember that word, whether you feel it or not. Your inner self, your divine part of you, is reminding you that you are enough. You are infinite. You are part of a cell that makes up many, 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 many bits of this reality. Be it living organisms, be it parts of the planet, all connected. And in this space, what emotions arise, if any? Think of something, bring to mind something you're grateful for. Remember, that can be like hugging a pet, to those moments when you stop and you have a break with your cup of cacao, an embrace from your child or your family member, loved one, a walk through an autumn wood, those colours. And is there anything that comes up, any symbols, any messages, any feelings? Make note. Even if it's the disease, resistance, anything that's triggering you, just make a mental note. And we'll come back to that later. Because they're the gifts to help us shift the reality that we want to shift to. They're our guidance, our inspiration. They're reminders, be it visual or audio or emotional. So in this floaty, calm space, breathe for me. I'm going to give you the intention, if it resonates, to be open and receptive to all good. In the words of Louise L. Hay, that affirmation, I am open and receptive to all good. And if you feel called to, then open up your hands. If you feel uncomfortable, if you want to keep your hands together and you're feeling like you want to be wrapped and you're being held, that's fine too. If you feel comfortable, open up those arms. You may feel vulnerable, but get comfortable with the uncomfortable, knowing that all is well. Even in uncertainty, we can trust in ourselves, trust that faith of that part of us that's more than. Remember, we're telling our brain this, it will make it reality. Holding to that. Bringing your hands to your heart, your emotional centre, your tuning dial. Tune again to that appreciating things. Holding that there. Bringing your hands down. Slowly coming back to those feet, remember. Drifting back from that expansive space that's within you. It's just beyond the horizon. You can go there whenever you need to. We're going to go back to our beach space, or our space that we were, wherever it was we took ourselves, that felt safe and joyful. And breathing and bringing your hands up to your face, just tips of your fingers on the forehead, meeting each other. We're just going to do the crown pull, relaxing, just bringing that across the forehead, so as if you're pulling open your third eye to the temples. And then if you continue that down, so you're going up rather than down, up, over and down the back of the head. Not hard, just it feels good. You can just feel that sensation of touch to remind us with the physical presence, with our mental intention, our plan, and again to the base of the neck and down, and just laying there for a moment and then crossing over those joy circuits, as Donna Eden would say. So from at the top of one shoulder, put the opposite hand to shoulder and just bringing down across the chest, and then the opposite side, the hand coming down. Keeping your eyes closed, hopefully that's what I'm saying, just crossing our chest like we're crossing our heart. We're crossing over from right to left brain. And just a little breath there. And before you open your eyes, if you just cover them and open them behind your hands so the light filters down. You don't open up straight away. Bringing them down, bringing them down. Back into this space of the room. And sense your energy, your emotion, what you're feeling. Hopefully, if you had a 2 before, you're a 5, wherever you are. And remember, you can replay this as many times as you need to. Yes. Thank you for your presence. Put it here. So, just allow yourself a little bit of time to come back into the room, wiggling those toes, give yourself a moment to slowly come back into this. And I will, if you let me, you're going to jump down so Mummy can get her card. Well done. I'm going to pull a card. What should we do? One from the ancestors, one from the light. Opposite the light. No, you don't want to be down there, Mummy. I want to be up here. Okay. So, these are Carl Gray's Angels and Ancestor cards. And I think of this as the gifts we have in our family, our genetic patterns that we can access through our DNA and the Akashic knowledge that's within ourselves, both good and bad, that we can work with. So thank you, angels, thank you, ancestors, for that energy of the angels and the ancestors. What do we need to know today? What do we want? What do we need to know today? Thank you for your guidance received with love. Mirror guardians, take time to reflect. And that just reminds me to remind you, there's that beautiful card there. You can see that. And the mirror with the universe in. And I would say that's a prompt for me to remind you about mirror work. Now, it doesn't matter what you are feeling if you don't feel enough. At times, sometimes we all have that imposter syndrome come up by suddenly doing do this because I'm guided to do it, and then I look and think, oh, I've got loads of followers, and should I keep doing it? And the doubts come up. It's that feeling of not enough. And one of the things that can help with get rid of that is mirror work, which I learned from Louise L. Hay. And sometimes it can make us feel uncomfortable. But if you look in the mirror and you say, I love you. And if that feels too much, say, I'm willing to learn. If it's with the throat chakra, willing to learn to love in front till you feel comfortable enough. It's something that doesn't work instantaneously. Generally, affirmation, it doesn't set that frequency instantly. What it is, it's getting you in law of increments, working our way up and shifting that subtle movement of that vibration, and that makes a big difference. And the mirror guarding is reflecting back these situations in our life. The experiences in our life that we experience are a mirror of what we feel. And that is what karma is, from a mirror of what we feel, of patterns that maybe we've that have been passed down through family, through culture, through society, beliefs, and they're ingrained. Sometimes we don't even realise we have these subtle patterns and beliefs, and it takes time and awareness. So we keep experiencing those experiences until we start to become aware. We'll repeat those patterns, and once we're aware, those patterns actually then become a gift, because they, by looking at what's manifested in our life, can show us what we've created by frequency and law of resonance. So that's what that mirror, that seeing ourselves and giving out what we get back. And that doesn't necessarily mean, some people, it's that intention, they're unaware of what they're doing. So to be a conscious creator, to manifest, you need to be aware. And I'm going to quickly read you what Carl's book says as well, but that's my take on that. To mirror, we are the universe, like the image says. There's a beautiful picture of the universe. Take some time to reflect on your strengths and challenges and how far you've come. Recognize your gifts. Now, the last 6 months, it's about what we've been through. The retrograde time of all these planets are all about going over things, having a chance to go back on, going over old ground and working out and releasing these patterns. And we're coming to, as I said, to a conclusive energy now, where we can now shift that and look to the new and look back at what we've learned. So what have you learned this year? What have we learned this year as a society with things? Not to be decisive, not to take people for granted, but what gifts do you have? As this is the ancestors, what do you realise that you're waking up inside of you and that you've had joy experiencing? Reflect on that. And what challenges have you had? Because as I've always said, I love that someone, but Matthias says, like, the crap in our life is what makes us grow. They are gifts. The challenges in our life, if you start to see and manifestations of them as a gift, they are like, as Abraham Hicks would say, the bumps on the side of the road to redirect you into the right direction, the symbols, the guides to push you this way and that way. When you learn to observe yourself and how you are and how you feel through different times and periods, I say that our instinct is, sometimes we say, oh, I've had this gut feeling and I shouldn't go there. Yes, if you are resonating at fear, then no, definitely don't go down that dark alley when you're feeling fear. But if you are in line with love, you can walk down that alley no problem, because you would not resonate with any experience that would create the victim from fear. You wouldn't light up for those experiences in our life. So it's trusting our gut, but also knowing, when we trust our gut, where our gut is at that time, what we're feeling, what we're vibrating at, and learning that music, those subtle dance of our thoughts and feelings and what they're bringing for us. Angels accept you just the way you are, even when you are going through a challenging time. They still hold you in the highest esteem. The mirror guardian, a female angel, so that feminine energy, looking into the mirror of life, invites you to witness your spiritual strength and beauty, to see yourself as angels do. We're all divine beings of the light, no matter what we do, no matter what we are. Light, darkness is just a distortion of the light, and subtle distortions within us creates illnesses, creates experiences that we may not wish for, but that's the distortion of this beautiful divine being that you are, is what they're saying. The mirror represents the fact that your core beliefs and ideas are in fact what is reflected back, like I was saying, to you by the world. Your life is one big mirror of how you feel within, and the mirror guardian helps you recognize that. When this card appears, you are being invited to take some time to see where you are right now. You are a beautiful being who has surmounted so many challenges and expanded in so many ways. Your angels are now guiding you to take inventory of your life and take time to note all of your recent experiences, the challenges you have surmounted, the strength you have developed, and the lessons you have learned. Your angels want you to reflect on your strength, in particular those aspects of yourself that you feel have not been acknowledged by others. So it's stepping into your power and seeing yourself as you want others to see you, rather than how you think that others see you. Whether we are taking or feeling like we're not being acknowledged for stuff at work, that feels definitely a message for someone out there, like they're not getting recognition, then that is because we don't recognize that value of ourselves. The more we value ourselves, and this is something I truly have learned in myself when I didn't want to charge for like my readings or my workshops, and I did so much for free. I love doing my meditation Mondays, which is free, that's my way of serving. But I had to learn personally that giving, we need to also receive, because if we're giving all the time, or in fact receiving all the time, it creates blockages in our auric field. We need flow. Energy is like water, it needs to flow in and out and in and out. And it's the same with situations around us. Energy, everything's made up of energy. My brain Einstein and all the great physicists we know now factually as well in the 3D realm, that it's all made up of energy. We are macro, micro. Your angels want you to reflect on your strengths, in particular those aspects of yourself you feel that you've not been acknowledged by others. Offer yourself approval where it's due, and know that you give yourself credit, others will be able to as well. So I suggest, for whoever that card resonates with, mirror work, saying I'm willing to learn to love myself, and looking in the mirror, just even if it feels uncomfortable, just do it first thing in the morning when you're brushing your teeth. One of the exercises Matthias De Stefano gave us was to look deep into our own eyes, because we're looking into the soul, we're looking into what we really feel, and that can be uncomfortable, but get comfortable with the uncomfortable and start to become comfortable with you and see yourself, see what's there, so that you can decide what you want to be there. That would be a guide and how we are done. I'm going to do one more card from Carl's Keepers of the Light, my favourites. I love these. I just really resonate. Oh wow. And White Eagle, I get a very similar image of my guide that's training me with the Qigong from that side. He's got that look about him. That's how my brain interprets that energy anyway. He was right at the top there. Reminding me, which is ancestor spirit. Connect to your lineage. The family would-be wounds or patterns can be healed, and that's what I've been learning and being guided to do myself, as many of us right now are. Oh, and again, this guy keeps coming up for me personally. Call to action, take charge, lead by example, and walk your talk, meaning I have to do those things. I've had a few days, I don't know about you, let me know in the comments below if you have, but days where I felt like I know I need to do this, I've got to do this, I've been trying to get my packs ready, all these things, but I didn't feel like it was ready. Divine timing, and now it's shifted. So feeling that's my call, my answer. So a card for those viewing in this now moment and later. Gali Mama. Well, I resonate, as I'm sure some of you who follow me will know. Major spiritual challenges are unfolding. This is your chance to soar. Facing fears. This for humanity is really important right now. I resonate so strongly with this, and I chant thanks to beautiful Yasmin Boland, who introduced me to chanting to Kali, and I love this process of this frequency and sound, which I do naturally, and we do with Matthias as well. But the energy of Kali Mama is this goddess mother energy, and it's misinterpreted a lot of the time because she looks quite scary with her skulls around her and the big swords and cutting, but she's cutting the cords of the things we no longer need. It reminds me very much of Pele, like the Hawaiian goddess with the volcanic eruption energy. That can be that way, can be quite swift, sharp change is what I'm seeing with this for whoever is hearing, like the scythe in my readings. It's that letting go and having to face our fears in society as well as in our own life. We're going into this energy right now of almost into the Scorpio, and Scorpio is about facing the darknesses of our own patterns, our own beliefs, limiting beliefs, and our own resistance, and what comes up, how we are seen, the reflective, how others see us. And she has this ability to help us get rid of that. You can invoke that energy to release those fears, and as I say, to resonate with compassion and walk with love and choose from love over those fears. And our fears, I always need to see your fear is always connected to your desire. The fear, for example, of what we've had in this past year with the whole COVID thing, it's that fear of getting sick. People have been confronted with that and our own mortality. And this reminds me, and me to reminding you, that we are immortal, that there is no death. I know that's not everyone's belief, and that may not resonate with some, but to be in this now moment, to appreciating this moment, more of you might resonate with that. If you choose to be present, being here, to appreciate the joys and the smaller details of our life, that then resonates at a lovely, wonderful frequency that draws other stuff into our life. So Kali has that beautiful energy to release the negativity, to banish it, to transmute that and shift it so you can walk without fear, so you can face your fears. If any of you follow me on Instagram, you may have heard my story of prior to COVID, I'd had a dream of a cobra. Now, I used to be scared of snakes, and I've been going through my own Kundalini awakening. So it had real significance for me personally as I'm evolving and as I'm growing, and we're constantly evolving and growing. None of us know everything. I share what I'm learning, and as I'm learning it, and I'm still learning, and I always will be. However, this dream showed me the cobra. I faced him in my dream, and as I faced him, he came up behind me like a regal way, like the Egyptian with everything I've gone through in Matthias. That made sense. And this kind of big power of the whole energy of self-sovereignty. But I faced him and looked him in the eye, and because I faced that fear, I let go of that fear of and knowing that our thoughts, our beliefs create our experiences. If we want to remind ourselves that we can be abundance, we can be health and well-being is up to us, then by facing that fear, the cobra ran off and it ate all the sheep. And it was showing me that in society, if society does not let go and surpass their fears, they will literally be eaten alive, was what it was saying, that would be what destruction. And that's this energy that need to get rid of what's not working and move beyond that to be at a different frequency, different vibration. So I will read you what Carl says with this card. but that's what comes to mind. And obviously the skulls as well is the other thing I want to add. Death is scares people for lots of reasons. The ancients celebrated death because they saw that that soul would be rebirthed in a different form, and they would be going on, and all that knowledge that they'd retained to those experiences for those lifetimes would then go to the collective, and then that would be accessible for us, for them, their frequency to tune to them, etc. So it was seen in a different light. So I see it definitely from my own mum's transition with cancer as a transition rather than an ending. But in card readings, the death card itself, that can be scary. Death means beginnings, and we're about to go through that, the vow and like I say, the new year over the next month. So it's that time of resetting, end of a cycle, and cycles, like I said, is the cosmic weather for energy at the beginning of the video. If we get Kali up. So what cycles are coming to an end in your life? What patterns and things are not working? Kali Mama, facing fear, major spiritual changes are unfolding. This is your chance to soar. It is for many of us. In the Hindu goddess of death and rebirth, she brings old cycles to an end so that we can experience transformation. So it's a transformation of yourself. She is a strong, fierce, fiery and powerful image of the divine feminine. Many have been intimidated by her, but she is mother energy, and therefore completely loving. She's like a fierce mother protecting her child from harm. She has a dark energy like the night sky. When you think of the night sky, you think of the moon. It's that feminine energy as well. But it consumes fear and leaves only love. She is the twin flame of the god Shiva, and has even been known to slay his ego so that he can reveal his true loving self. It's that slaying of our own ego. And the ego is not a bad thing. The ego, the personality, they all get caught up, and we always think of them, oh, we get rid of that. But it's going past that and seeing through the eyes of love and compassion, the true meaning of the word compassion. Compassion isn't doing stuff because we feel bad for that person, because then we're frequency-wise wheel picking up. It's actually to, and I shared, Sandra Waters spoke about this month as well, to care but not carry, to want to see the change and shift that change, to shift that energy, to transmute that energy, to not carry forward with the train of pain when we witness others in pain. It's a very different thing. This time when you are able to look fear in the eyes and move away from it. Fear is just energy, and energy can be changed. This can be an intense experience because the human self is conditioned that it may be used to operating within fear. When the fear is gone, it may feel as though it's an emptiness there, but this is space for love and miracles. So then focus on that gratitude, the appreciation, and bringing that into that space. With the full moon we've got coming up, we'll be doing that letting go and releasing. We'll be bringing in that love and intention. Emptiness is there, but there is this space for the love and miracles to enter. You are being filled with the courage of spirit now, so that you can move from this phase of your life to the next. Trust the process and call to Kali Mama to help you release your fears and step into space that's strong, focused and courageous. Stand in your light, and it's got on my board up there, be the light, be the light, so you shine even in the darkness. That's what Kali Mama does for that fierce mother energy. And I will leave it there because we're double the time than normal. Apologies, and thank you for staying this long with us. I hope that helps anyone out there. Of course, you can always reach out if you need to through my social media posts. So thank you. Please like and share this with people you feel it will resonate with. My love, my blessing. I'm Theresa Jande. True Heart Art to Divine Authentic, the 3 branches of the things I do, but mostly from Love Authentic Me on Facebook and YouTube of the same name. thank you. It's about me trying to be authentic for myself, to stand in my own power, to remind you and resonate and co-create with those who want to do